Welcome to my classroom. In this video, we are going to talk about a more difficult question in relation to solving quadratic equations. So it's solving. And we are going to use the quadratic formula right here. So I'm going to call it more difficult or more harder problem. All right, so the example for this video that I have chosen is going to be 4x squared plus 4x minus 8 equals 1. So I have observed that students get confused when the quadratic equation is broken up a little bit. That means your A, B, and C are given, but yet on the right-hand side of the equal to, you have another number. So that just confuses the students. Students always remember that do not move on with quadratic formula until or unless your equation is equal to 0. So the problem here is our equation is not equal to 0. So what we do is we subtract 1 on both the sides. Remember, I cannot subtract 1 under any of these two pieces, reason being they are not amigos or friends or like terms. I can only subtract 1 under these. It goes away from here. Now all that math drama I did just so I can have my equation equals to 0. Now after doing that math, you can see that my equation is equal to 0. Now my first step here is going to be that I need to list out my ABC. So here you can see that it is already in the order where the highest power comes first, x squared, then x, and then no x. So A is 4, B is 4, and C is negative 9. Now I need to plug in everything into the quadratic formula, so I would like to write down the quadratic formula for you. Square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So that was our quadratic formula. All right. Step number C. Your step number C is going to be basically your setting up step where you set up everything. So basically my b is 4, so I'm going to plug in b here. So it becomes negative 4 plus or minus square root of b squared. That means 4 squared minus 4a. What is a? 4. C. What is C? Negative 9. I have to bring the sign with it. Everything over 2 times a. What is a? 4. So now this was my setup step. I'm setting up everything in the formula. All right. Let us move on to the next step. Next step, I will just go ahead and I would rather solve the square root piece here because there's too much going on. So negative 4 stays like that. Plus or minus 2x intercepts. 4 times 4 is 16. Minus. Now inside here, I'll solve these. So this 9 times 4 is 36. And 36 times 4 is what I need. So 9 times 4 is 36. 36 times 4 is 144, I think. So it is 144 here. All right, over 2 times 4 is 8. All right. So now in the next step, students, I'm going to have to, maybe I should draw a line here to make my work look neat and clean. All right. Oh, I'm already still on line feature, sorry. There we go. So E, point number E is going to be, step number E, sorry, x equals negative 4 plus or minus, remember these are two negatives, so I have to add them. So negative times negative, positive. Square root of 16 plus 144 divided by 8, which will be equal to, now students, from this step onwards, there are two ways to solve it, which I'm going to show you. Let us say calculator is not allowed on any test and you have to solve it without the calculator. You can write this same as 16 times 10. I hope you agree with me that 16 times 10 is 160. Now, why did I do that? I deliberately took 16 because 16 is a perfect square root. So when I do that, it becomes negative 4 plus or minus square root of 16 is 4. So right here, I'm going to use 4. Now, square root of 10 is, there's no perfect square root, so I can keep it that way. Oh, divided by 8 it was, my bad, sorry. Now, students, the moment I have this as my answer, at times in the answer choices, I can leave it this way, or I can go ahead and divide or simplify this answer and divide everybody by 4. Remember, I will not divide the number inside the square root. All right, in this step, my answer becomes negative 1. 4 divided by 4, 1. So there was a negative sign. Plus or minus 4 divided by 4, square root 10. 4 times what is 8? 2. That's my answer. Now I can also change my answer into a decimal. It all depends on how the answer is actually provided on your question paper. So I can change it to negative 1 plus the square root of 10 is 3.16 over 2, negative 1 minus 3.16 over 2. So I can eventually solve this and get the answer. It will be 2.16 over 2. And this will be negative 4.16 over 2. So I can always solve that and get the answer. So this will be 1.08 and this will be negative 2.8. So these could be my two x-intercepts that I'm having on the graph where they are crossing on the x-axis. So pretty much that is it, students, and I hope it made some sense to you. If there is a mistake, please do let me know. I will try my best to fix it. So basically in this, I explained to you whenever your quadratic equation is not equal to 0, and see, the logic is basically why we try to make it equal to 0 is that on the graph, when you find the x values, the value of y is 0 at that time. And this equation is equal to y, and that is why your x value has to be equal to 0. So I hope it's, it was a learning experience for you. Do let me know if it was helpful, and thank you for taking your time to watch this video. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Have a good one. Bye.